Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 395 based on novel. So let's start. After leaving the space of the black striped stone pillars, Luo Feng continued to venture deeper within Universe Boat, where the environment was fraught with more adversity and danger. Compared to annihilation due to fights with other great beings, the naturally occurring dangers found within the three most dangerous lands, on the contrary, were the greatest cause of annihilation for Universe Masters. Even though some dangerous lands had been identified after many years of verification, there were occasional accidents that happened due to unforeseen circumstances. Accidents. Within the three most dangerous lands, accidents might possibly happen anytime. Raw. A dark, bluish wind raged on, sweeping through the vast space. This endless wind that contained icy frost had caused the vast space to solidify. Therefore, not a trace of ripple or wave could be detected. The degree of coldness was enough to harden and shatter godly bodies of Universe Masters into powder, thus annihilating them. If it was to brush across the godly body of a Universe Master, the other party would feel as though a knife was slicing pieces off his body. A crimson stream of light was breaking through layers of raging winds and advancing at high speed. The deeper I get within Universe Boat, the more dangerous it gets, said Luo Feng. There are even several places that require one to traverse with a palace-type true treasure. I believe that any beings able to make it this far, those with pinnacle palace true treasures. Luo Feng was comfortable and snug in the core control room of Star Tower as he sat on a soft, fluffy couch. The tea table before him was laid out with an exquisite tea set specially prepared for him by his wife, Shushin. The tea leaves used were naturally of premium quality. The amber-colored tea within the teacup was piping hot, and steam could be seen. Even if it were a Universe Master, or even if I am as powerful as Ice Mountain Master, I still have to stay inside Star Tower. Luo Feng held his teacup. Along the way, I have traversed many dangerous lands where even the most common kinds of raging winds, winter cold, or flying rocks could easily destroy a top-tier palace-type true treasure. Top-tier palace true treasures were difficult to destroy even by a full-force attack of a Universe Supreme Master. However, the natural environment within the Universe Boat made this possible. This was merely within the internal domain. Of course, when in the deeper region of internal domain, the space of the black striped stone pillars could actually be considered to be a boundary, meaning to say that before the space of the black striped stone pillars, the degree of danger would be considerably small, but beyond the space of the black striped pillars, the danger involved would apparently get more terrifying. This is merely the internal domain. Its natural environment had already surpassed the full force attack by a Universe Supreme Master. If it's the core land, how terrifying would it be? Luo Feng mused to himself. Just the power of a minute ripple would have surpassed that of a Universe Supreme Master. No wonder at the core land, even Universe Supreme Masters with supreme true treasures might get annihilated. Luckily, I have a map. Luo Feng felt even more fortunate that he had managed to obtain the black token earlier on. The secret space chamber that the black token led to had allowed him to obtain this map left behind by generations of space masters, and it was a wealth of information. Originally, from the space of the black striped stone pillars to the space of the green token, even with Star Tower, Luo Feng dared not venture there, but with this detailed map, he could choose another route that he dared tread upon. This map is extremely important. I believe my fellow members of the human race and other races would also be in urgent need of it. If every one of my fellow humans is able to own a copy of this map, I think the number of true treasures they can obtain will increase by leaps and bounds. Luo Feng nodded slightly. Then right away, his consciousness, which was located far away within the endless remote ocean of the primal universe, entered the virtual universe. Luo Feng's current body, avatar, and remote ocean body were stationed in the Milky Way galaxy on a long-term basis, where he occasionally headed for the ancestral god school's Borhinia Island to accept inheritances. And there was also a body sustained by his godly power in the secret hidden space within the 9th level of Deep Abyss, which was kept there to comprehend the secret engravings of that place, while his Mosha body remained as a rock in the space of the black striped stone pillars to sharpen and hone his willpower. There were countless life forms within the universe, so long as they were alive and capable of thoughts, they would naturally have willpower. The black striped stone pillar. Until today, there was no great being that could touch it because the impact of its willpower was too strong. No great being, regardless of its life form, was capable of touching it. Now, Mosha body was at a vast and spacious rock. The gigantic big rock was from a different domain where time velocity varied. The entire rock was in a place where time velocity had a space interval of 3,000 to 3,120 times. Normally, Moshe body would sharpen and hone its willpower. By studying diagrams of secret engravings and laws under such oppressive conditions, his efficiency was apparently much lower, probably only 1/10 of his efficiency rate under normal conditions. However, because time velocity was much faster where he was, although he was performing the same tasks of studying diagrams of secret engravings and laws, his efficiency rate was much higher than when he was in the outside world. In the virtual universe, on the summit of Thunder Island. "Teacher!" Luo Feng shouted as he stood amidst the chaotic airflow. From the far end of the chaotic airflow, a figure in a golden robe walked over. Luo Feng was originally smiling, but as he looked at the approaching figure, his expression started to change slightly. He could clearly see that the chaotic airflow surrounding the approaching golden-robed figure was vaguely changing. There were strange scenes of the creation of the world where all living souls were born. There were scenes of the destruction of the world, where both heaven and earth were destroyed. Various scenes unfolded only to dissipate. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City leader, made his way over, yet his gaze seemed faintly distant. "Teacher?" Luo Feng bowed with respect. "Congratulations, teacher." He was no fool. Naturally, he could tell that Primal Chaos City leader had made a breakthrough. Primal Chaos City leader smiled and said, "Just a little breakthrough. I am still short of becoming a Universe Supreme Master. But this breakthrough is already enough to give me a vague sense of that level of boundaries. The roads I walked, the paths I will be moving towards are all achievable. So long as I make it past them all, I will become a Universe Supreme Master." "Congratulations, teacher," Luo Feng rejoiced. "I sincerely congratulate you. To become a Universe Supreme Master, the most difficult part was finding a road that no other great being had taken before. Many great beings had decided to take this road or to take an alternative road, but the road they chose might not truly be the road to the summit. It could lead to a dead end. Primal Chaos City leader was originally extremely strong. Now, with another breakthrough, he could already sense that layer of boundaries. Such a sense of reaching the final summit was extremely accurate. Who knew how much time the final crossover would take? If I am unable to cross over by the end of this reincarnation era, then for my entire lifetime, I will no longer be able to cross over. Primal Chaos City leader sighed. Luo Feng nodded. Only the primal universe was able to breed Universe Supreme Masters. "You are here to look for me, what is it regarding?" Primal Chaos City leader asked. "Happy event." Luo Feng laughed. "What happy event?" Primal Chaos City leader also joined in the laughter. Luo Feng did not elaborate further. He pointed right into the void space ahead of them. With a move in his mind, the chaotic airflow in their surrounding void space started to evolve into a huge vessel, a discontinued, towering mountain peak. A gigantic mountain range with overlapping mountain peaks where countless majestic waterfalls cascaded. At the same time, within the internal parts of these three, various scenes appeared, and there was abundant detailed information for every scene that emerged. A map? Primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng with a look of surprise. A map of the three most dangerous lands? I will now send it over to you. Please take a thorough look. Luo Feng stopped the mysterious act. The map of the three most dangerous lands was extremely detailed and contained a large number of wordy explanations. If he were to try to make out everything on the map alone, he would never be able to succeed in finish everything within a couple of days. A moment later, upon receiving the map of the three most dangerous lands, Primal Chaos City leader took a thorough look and was no longer surprised, he was shocked. The map was detailed to the extent of exaggeration. It far exceeded the map of the three most dangerous lands that the human race had, and this level of exceeded expectations made Primal Chaos City feel a little jumpy with apprehension. How can a map be so detailed? This. Even the map of the two Holy Land universes could not hold a candle to. Primal Chaos City leader was apparently very excited. Luo Feng, where did you get this map? This is a priceless map. No one would leave it lying around, and without being powerful enough, no one would dare bring it about. Luo Feng laughed. When I was in the internal domain of Universe Boat, I got lucky and discovered a black token. After arriving at the space of the black striped stone pillars and entering the individual space of the corresponding secret space chamber of that black token, I discovered the map. Black token? Primal Chaos City leader was confused. A black token is not very precious. There are great beings being annihilated every reincarnation era, so there will always be some black tokens scattered in every corner. You being lucky enough to have chanced upon one is not surprising. But the individual space that the black token led to should be an ordinary individual space. How did it come to contain such a precious map? The story goes like this. Luo Feng sighed, then explained, in that individual space, there was a rolling mountain range, yet the rock walls of that mountain range were shaven to flat ground by a certain great being countless thousands of reincarnation eras ago, or even longer. Then he left words and diagrams of secret engravings on it. Therefore, for generations of space masters after him, one after the other, they added onto the map, making it quite rich in information. Although a handful of space masters deliberately wanted to destroy the map time and again, by the time I claimed ownership, there was still information from nearly 900 space masters on this map. That is why this map of the 3 most dangerous lands can be so detailed. Primal Chaos City leader was speechless. Almost immediately, he laughed. Ha ha ha. The luck of our human race. Our luck. Primal Chaos City leader laughed nodded. True enough, it is normal for any space master who is about to face doomsday, with his entire race about to be wiped out, to want to leave behind a map. Generation after generation, this has been happening. This is what makes that individual space of this black token of yours so incomparably precious. Any generation of great being that has the chance to own it is considered lucky. Come. Quickly come along with me to meet Huge Axe. This is a massive contribution you have made. No matter what, the race must thank you, big time. Based on the detailed information on this map of the 3 most dangerous lands, our human race can easily gain more true treasures of better quality. The ability of our human race will only become stronger with the passage of time. I don't see the need for me to go, Luo Feng replied. I will pass the map to you, and you can pass it over to Huge Axe. That's fine with me. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. Then I will take my leave. Luo Feng left right away, disappearing from his spot. Primal Chaos City leader watched Luo Feng disappear. In his heart, he could not resist a sigh. This disciple, Luo Feng, was indeed out of the ordinary. His capability had improved tremendously, which greatly benefited their race time and again. Like previously, during the rise of Teacher Origin and Huge Axe Creator, they both accomplished various amazing feats that never failed to leave people in awe and dumbstruck. The rise of every great being was, in itself, a legend. The encounters my disciple has come across can be considered legends. It seems that in the future, he will likely be able to make a name for himself within the list of supreme beings. Primal Chaos City leader laughed to himself. Thereafter, he made his way to meet Huge Axe Creator. Before that simple and plain godly palace. The heavens have bestowed on us humans. The heavens have bestowed on us humans. Ha ha ha. This map of the 3 most dangerous lands. With this map, throughout the whole of Universe Ocean, there would only be a few groups of top powers that could be comparable to us humans. Huge Axe Creator laughed heartily. Previously, after the incident on Universe Boat, I did not have many opportunities. Therefore, I have left Universe Boat and returned to Tilted Peak Sector, which is my lucky land. The map that I previously obtained after the annihilation of Yuan AO Master was split up. I was just worrying about the incompleteness of the map. With this map to make up for the other one, I will have an easier time in Tilted Peak Sector. Primal Chaos City leader, Huge Axe said right away. Luo Feng has made a major contribution this time. Let's determine it as 20,000 contribution points. All right. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. If you work harder for further improvement, you will become part of the list of universe supreme beings. Huge Axe sighed. By then, our human race would be stronger. With your help, perhaps I can have a shot at trying to think of a way to rescue Teacher Origin. Primal Chaos City leader nodded gently. He also knew of this. Teacher Origin had been eternally suppressed. If he wanted to regain his freedom, how difficult would that be? However, so long as power was strong, nothing was entirely impossible. Swamps were everywhere in the deep area of the inner area of Universe Boat. Above it was the boundless lava ocean. Lots of lava fell from the sky, and it clotted before it reached the ground. It turned into black rocks, which grew softer. They flew like black mercury and formed a black swamp. The lava ocean was at the top, and the black swamp was at the bottom. This was the infamous flame ice region. As it was in the deepest part of the inner area, there were millions of dangerous places, which was why they were all given random names, but the dangers couldn't be overlooked. Suddenly, bubbles started to show up on the black swamp. More and more bubbles showed up, and some black swamp water was blasted out. Ripples showed up on this area, and they spread. The black swamp area started to tremble, and it was horrifying. Around 10 light years away from that area, a small but delicate palace with a steeple was floating. Inside the palace were 3 great beings. All of them had single-eye phantoms on their backs. Apparently, they were great beings from the Divine Eye clan. A giant man in golden armor smiled. Although it's extremely dangerous in Flame Ice region, the dangers can be identified. It's a good place in Universe Boat. There are rarely any true treasures born, but every time one emerges, it's at least a pinnacle domain type or palace type true treasure. Shadow Dust, I'm so jealous that you two are stationed here in the long term. It's indeed a great place, but there are also lots of powers here. A small man from Divine Eye clan smirked. The 2 Holy Land universes don't care, yet several powers from the first universe era are also here. Are you really jealous, Golden Square? Golden Square, let's switch. Can we? Said a female from the Divine Eye clan in a loose black cape, smiling. Shadow Dust Master and Sorcerer Sprite Master were 2 extremely powerful great beings from the Divine Eye clan. They were also partners. One of them was great at close combat, while the other was great at soul attack. They roamed Universe Ocean cooperating with each other, and they rarely met a match. Normally, they stayed in Flame Ice region. No, I'm not going to switch. The giant man in golden armor shook his head. In the entire inner area of Universe Boat, there aren't many good places that we Divine Eye clan know of. We spent a lot of energies finding that place. Though there aren't as many valuables here as your place, it's much safer. You're so timid. Shadow Dust Master smirked. Just when the female wanted to say something, she frowned. Shadow Dust Master's eyes gleamed as well, and he tried to sense it carefully. That direction. It's there. Shadow Dust Master and Sorcerer Sprite Master turned in the same direction, then made eye contact. They both knew that something had happened, something great happened. Do you want to go, Golden Square? Asked Shadow Dust Master. Congratulations. It seems that we're about to get something, said the golden armored man. Of course, I'll go. Perhaps not only the Divine Eye clan is stationed there. You 2 alone might not be able to hold them. I'll need to come and help. We'll give you benefits if you actually help us, said Sorcerer Sprite Master. But we won't give you anything if you prove worthless. We need to make sure that you know this. Of course. The golden armored man nodded. Let's go. Go? The palace turned into a green light, and it moved forward in the space between the lava ocean and the black swamp. In another space flew a pyramid-shaped building. Inside the pyramid, a bold man was drinking wine and looking outside through his palace true treasure. The horrible environment outside gave him chills. The bold man frowned. Is a new true treasure born? Am I really that lucky? I can't believe I ran into something like this. I'll go. The pyramid sensed the direction and flew toward it. The tiny, bloody light kept moving forward 100 times faster than light speed. Inside the control room, Luo Feng sat looking at the outside. He held a cup of green tea in his hand, and there were engravings showing on his eyes. A small trace of godly power permeated. Luo Feng's eyes turned bright immediately. Something special, he whispered. Space and time were very stable in dangerous places like Flame Ice region. It was difficult for space and time to tremble. Have Universe Supreme Masters used their power to break the laws? Is a true treasure born? Is a massive catastrophe coming? Whispered Luo Feng. Probably true treasures being born. I've been in Universe Boat for almost 1,000 years, thought Luo Feng. I only got crazy demon extermination godly armor by killing 5 Chaos Master. As for the true treasures naturally born, the most precious one is the top-tier domain-type true treasure Snow Fire Sector. I haven't seen one Pinnacle Palace-type true treasure. It's time for me to find a better true treasure. True treasures born in the inner area were all great. The best naturally born true treasure he had seen was a top-tier domain-type true treasure which was nothing in the inner area. In places like Flame Ice region, top-tier domain-type true treasures couldn't even survive. I'll go and see. Luo Feng followed his sensation. Flame Ice region was vast, and teleportation was only possible at the periphery. Luo Feng could only fly. After around a month, Luo Feng frowned. He kept using his domain true treasure Snow Fire Sector, yet he touched another domain outside. It was a freezing domain. Are you Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng? A godly power transmitted the voice inside the domain. Yes, I am. Who are you? Luo Feng couldn't tell by his voice alone. I am Dear Bug. The godly power kept transmitting the voice. Dear Bug Master. How lucky I am to meet you here, Luo Feng replied. He couldn't tell by sensing the domain, yet now, he knew that it was Dear Bug Master, a supreme being from Purple Moon Holy Land universe. Dear Bug Master was an ancient being, among the top beings of the Purple Moon Holy Land universe. He was a level 6 universe master because he had a supreme true treasure. A supreme true treasure named Dear Bug Godly Armor. Dear Bug Master loved being alone, and he loved adventure. Usually, adventurers would die quickly in Universe Ocean. However, Dear Bug Master not only had the information support from Purple Moon Holy Land universe, but he also had his own power and his true treasure to survive. Did you notice that as well? Asked Dear Bug Master. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. I'm heading there. Let's go together, shall we? Said Dear Bug Master. Okay. A beam of bloody light and a golden streak of light shot off. After another 3 days. Huh? Luo Feng looked at the thrilling scene in the black swamp. A giant boat was rising from the swamp. The boat was black, and black liquid dripped from it into the black swamp. The black swamp churned, and black liquid sprayed out. Aside from the pyramid and the bloody tower, there was another palace with a steeple was in the sky. Is it Shadow and Sorcerer? Shadow and Sorcerer? Luo Feng could tell immediately that it must have been Shadow Dust Master and Sorcerer Sprite Master in the palace with the steeple. Yes, it's me and Shadow Sorcerer. I didn't expect Dear Bug Master to be here too, said a clear voice. Judging from the domain, it must be Milky Way Horde leader. Luo Feng's voice was transmitted. It's me. I didn't expect Milky Way Horde leader and Dear Bug Master to be here together, said Sorcerer Sprite Master. We're heading to the same place, said Luo Feng. Not happy seeing us here, said Dear Bug Master. Ha ha. I am exhilarated. I have met the birth of this boat of mausoleum. I'm so lucky. Humph. Luo Feng couldn't have cared less about the others. He was looking at the giant boat rising from the endless swamp, which seemed to be longer than 10 billion kilometers. Luo Feng couldn't tell what it was. He thought it was at least a pinnacle domain-type true treasure. Luo Feng was shocked. It's Boat of Mausoleum. There wasn't much information about Boat of Mausoleum in the human race. The mausoleum was a legendary place. Based on the records, it was the resting place of countless dead great beings. Even though some great beings had gone in before, they didn't see any bodies. At the same time, there were lots of valuables left in the mausoleum, so lots of great beings craved to going in. However, the younger couldn't just go in like that. Even Universe Supreme Masters couldn't get in. However, one could enter Boat of Mausoleum. This is the legendary Boat of Mausoleum? Luo Feng looked at the ancient boat carefully. The towering, massive black vessel continued its ascent, causing the entire black swamp to tremble and vibrate. Compared to the black vessel, Luo Feng and company seemed incredibly small, with respect to body size as well as aura. For every universe master present, if not for their true treasures, the moment they fell into the black swamp, they would be doomed for sure. Full force attacks were unable to shake the black swamp, but this black vessel shook off a large part of the black swamp effortlessly. How do we seize this treasure? I have never heard of any method. Many thoughts coursed through Luo Feng's mind. There were many legends of the Boat of Mausoleum, but no one in humanity had never possessed it before, and among the near 100 groups of powers throughout the entire Universe Ocean, the two Holy Lands might be the only ones who had ever managed to seize it before, so it was understandable that no one knew how to seize this treasure. Branding it with life imprints? Unlikely. If branding was possible, then Dear Bug Master, Shadow Dust Master of the Divine Eye Clan, and Sorcerer Sprite Master would not be so peaceful. Dear Bug Master. Luo Feng suddenly did a voice transmission. This time it was directed only to Dear Bug Master, so Sorcerer Sprite Master and Shadow Dust Master were oblivious. Milky Way Horde leader, Dear Bug Master replied. I have little experience and knowledge, so I do not have any information about the Boat of Mausoleum. Although I have heard about its legends, I have practically zero knowledge when it comes to true facts about it. Would you, Dear Bug Master, be able to share some of your knowledge about it with me? Ha ha ha, why should I tell you? Dear Bug Master asked back. Luo Feng merely smiled and replied, as if he did not mind, it's fine if you are unable to tell me anything. I will just follow you, Shadow Dust Master, and Sorcerer Sprite Master when you three get into action. You really want to know? Dear Bug Master suddenly asked. Of course, Luo Feng replied. I'm fine with telling you, but I have one condition, Dear Bug Master said. I think there should be no other fellow great being from Purple Moon Holy Land here in Flame Ice region. When the boat of Mausoleum has completely emerged, which I guess should be soon, summoning other fellow great beings is completely out of the question. They will not be able to make it here in time. I may be powerful, but I am afraid I will become a target of attack. Would you be willing to be at my beck and call for the time being? If you agree, then I will tell you detailed information about the boat of Mausoleum. If not, forget it. Agreed. Luo Feng did not hesitate at all. However, I will only follow your orders before the crowd, before the treasure. Don't blame me if I behave otherwise. Before the treasure, of course, we will depend on our own capabilities, Dear Bug Master replied. Deal, Luo Feng answered. He knew why Dear Bug Master was fearful of the other groups of powers. Although Dear Bug Master possessed a supreme true treasure, that was only a supreme armor. Though strong in defense, when in face-to-face combat, it did not offer much of an advantage. Fighting with other great beings, for instance, a 5th-tier Universe Master against a 4th-tier Universe Master battling one another, the most the armor could do was to bring the 4th-tier Universe Master to a disadvantageous position. Killing was not very feasible unless it was with absolute restraint. Like Clear Eye Master, his soul attack could bring his opponent into an instant daze, where all ability to resist was lost. Perhaps this kind of absolute restraint would work wonders. Some 5th-tier existences were still able to survive when exchanging blows with Universe Supreme beings, so if they were pitted against mere 6th-tier Universe Masters, the results were obvious. Dear Bug Master was able to unleash his power, but the amount that he could unleash was probably only the amount a Universe Supreme Master could release in the Primal Universe. Even though this would gain him an absolute upper hand, it would be extremely difficult to kill any one of his opponents or even to kill someone like Luo Feng. Since you have agreed, Dear Bug Master said without further delay, I shall provide you with information regarding the boat of Mausoleum. Countless eras ago, the boat of Mausoleum was a working tool for a group of ancient existences within the universe boat. Of course, that ancient civilization was very powerful. For instance, they created the black striped stone pillars and the entire universe boat, both of which, none of us great beings in the universe ocean of today could cause to budge an inch. Luo Feng agreed on that. That civilization was indeed very powerful. Judging from clues left behind on various sources, many true treasures, even utmost supreme true treasures, were the legacy of that civilization. A certain degree of deduction was possible, just by looking at the informative writing found on a supreme true treasure, that they were exactly the same as the writings used by that civilization. There is a large number of unique objects within the universe boat, the black striped stone pillars, bloody sea plate, boat of Mausoleum, and others, for which the method of branding with life imprints to get them to recognize their masters will not work out. I am not so sure about types of objects like the black striped stone pillars and bloody sea plate, but objects like the boat of Mausoleum were more like tools, not true treasures. For instance, Dear Bug Master continued, when you are hiding inside the boat of Mausoleum and great beings attack from the outside world, the boat of Mausoleum could counteract to a certain extent, but still, a strong impact would be transmitted all the way in. Meaning to say, the boat of Mausoleum does not function like a palace true treasure which can block off impacts to near perfection. However, it is a valuable that is naturally able to block soul attacks. Because of the unique material it is composed of, virtual godly powers would not be able to penetrate it at all. Its defense is merely because of its unique material. Want to make it recognize its master? One must enter the boat of Mausoleum and find its core control. Core control? Luo Feng repeated. Within the entire universe boat, Dear Bug Master said, there were several boats of Mausoleum, but it takes ages for one to be born. Every boat of Mausoleum has a different core control. So you better not think of finding out anything about core controls from me because I myself am clueless. Luo Feng knew that Dear Bug Master definitely had certain information regarding the core control, but this was confidential and also involved seizing a true treasure. Why would he tell Luo Feng so readily? If you want to enter this boat of Mausoleum, there is no other way, Dear Bug Master said. You must wait for it to open its doors. If it does not want to open on its own, then no one would be able to forcibly pry it open. Luo Feng persisted in his questions. How long is the wait? Very soon. The moment it is completely born, the doors will normally open automatically. Of course, there is a possibility of sudden delays, Dear Bug Master sighed. From the records of my holy hand, there was also a boat of mausoleum that had doors that refused to open upon complete birth. After more than 300 eras, a supreme being who was extremely skilled in refining true treasures made use of a secret technique to drive this boat of mausoleum, to finally stimulate it to open its doors automatically. Refining true treasures? Luo Feng felt a jolt. To refine a true treasure, one must first have a deep understanding of the civilization it originated from, dear Bugmaster said. Random great beings would not be able to fathom the treasures left behind by a particular civilization, but for those great beings skilled in refining true treasures, upon thorough and meticulous studying of the true treasures, they will be able to reveal the mysteries of these treasures. As for this boat of mausoleum, there is another piece of information. You should have heard this before. A single boat of mausoleum can take in 36 great beings to enter that tomb. 36 great beings? Luo Feng only knew that the boat of mausoleum could bring great beings into the tomb. Only one chance to control and drive the boat of mausoleum, dear Bugmaster said. Once inside the tomb, the boat of mausoleum will leave and no longer be controlled. So, even if you manage to get hold of the boat of mausoleum, you must consider carefully whether you truly want to enter the tomb. Once you enter the tomb, you will lose the boat of mausoleum. The boat of mausoleum was slowly emerging from the black swamp. Its speed might have been slow, but there was sustained, constant movement. Very quickly, it drew in a palace-type true treasure, which was an ancestral god school's group of power from the first reincarnation era. Generation after generation of reincarnation era. Regardless of which reincarnation era, there would always be the presence of the ancestral god school. When in the primal universe, the ancestral god school was generally very powerful. However, the moment the primal universe was destroyed to enter a new reincarnation era, these great beings of the ancestral god school who were forced to live in their miniature universes no longer had the protection of the universe origin. Their powers would be weakened, and their degree of unity would be greatly reduced, thus appearing to be detached from one another. A wild voice sounded. Ha ha! Shadow Dust Master from the Divine Eye Clan, Sorcerer Sprite Master? Dear Bug Master from Purple Moon Holy Land? Liu Ju Master of the First Ancestral God School? The human race's Milky Way Horde leader? This is the boat of mausoleum? A pale white light that just arrived immediately swept past the stream of light and charged toward the boat of mausoleum. Luo Feng, Dear Bug Master, Shadow Dust Master, and the others were mocked amidst laughter as they looked on. They could see the pale white light landing on the boat of mausoleum, searching for a spot that was not tainted by the black swamp, then trying its best to brand the boat with its life imprints. Apparently, nothing was successful. Skeleton Clan, you are just foolish. Cold laughter sounded throughout the domain and resonated in that part of space. We are all watching from afar, no one trying to make the boat recognize a master. Isn't it obvious that a master cannot be recognized? You're still trying to court your death by trying to make it recognize a master. What a joke. Divine Eye Clan, you are just idiotic, said a shrill voice that suggested an untamed character sounded. The others are not saying anything, so what nonsense are you speaking? Of course, I am aware that the boat of mausoleum cannot recognize a master, but still, I have to try. Who knows? This boat of mausoleum might be different from the others. And who knows? You Divine Eye Clan might already have some who tried to make the boat recognize a master before me. He was right. The Divine Eye Clan had been the first to arrive. They had, indeed, studied the emerging boat of mausoleum carefully and attempted to get it to recognize a master. However, the Divine Eye Clan was from the first reincarnation era. Regarding information on the boat of mausoleum, they were lacking in quantity as compared to the two Holy Land universes. Foolish Skeleton Clan, stop finding excuses, the cold voice continued. Stop being so full of yourself, Divine Eye Clan, the shrill voice snorted. The other groups of powers present did not make a single utterance. Skeleton Clan and Divine Eye Clan were both pinnacle clans from the first reincarnation era. Although the Skeleton Clan might have been slightly weaker than the Divine Eye Clan, it was still the latter's archenemy. The talents of both clans cursed one another. For close to 3 reincarnation eras, ceaseless fights had been going on between the two clans. Being able to maintain such strong powers while under the suppression of the Divine Eye Clan, one could imagine the power of Skeleton Clan. Time passed. Another half a month passed, and no other groups of powers came. Now, there were 5 groups. Namely, Divine Eye Clan, Skeleton Clan, the First Ancestral God School, Purple Moon Holy Ground, and the humans. Luo Feng knew he was alone, so what about the other groups? Everyone was within their own palace true treasures. How many great beings were in those palace true treasures? No one else knew. Perhaps the skeleton clan had a few of those palace true treasures with only one person inside. Perhaps there were two great beings of the Divine Eye clan inside, or maybe there were more than two. Before a battle took place, it was hard to say. The boat of Mausoleum had finally completed emerging, the base of the entire vessel had left the black swamp and was vaguely seen suspended in the air. At the same time, the cabin doors were starting to vibrate. The cabin doors are about to open. Milky Way, let's go, Dear Bugmaster transmitted his command to Luo Feng right away. Luo Feng's Crimson Tower followed close behind Dear Bugmaster's pyramid as they immediately flew toward the towering boat of Mausoleum, which was quite a distance away. Hurry. Keep a close eye on Dear Bugmaster. He has the most information. Keep up. The other groups of powers saw Dear Bugmaster and Luo Feng dashing over. Without a second thought, they immediately went ablaze with their godly power to propel their palace true treasures to the ultimate forms. Then, with speeds accelerated to 100 times light speed, they transformed into streaks of light and took off in the direction of the boat of Mausoleum. This video will end here.